Day. I need a song. I need someone to write me a song. If you're a singer songwriter, write me a song about Hump Day. Happy Hump Day. Hello out there. It is Hump Day. Happy Hump Day. I will keep doing that, New Year or not. They're just certain things that just feel really funny and I like them. So I just keep doing that. Yay. So, hello, hello, hello. Happy Hump Day. It is another Wednesday in planet Earth. Not necessarily Wednesday in other parts of the multiverse, but it is a Wednesday here. It's January 6th, making this the first hump day of January, the first hump day of the new year 2021. And it is also something else I haven't heard very much talk about. It's a brand new decade. Like we're marching into the this decade happening as the one of the decade. Yay. Very exciting. It's probably the second year of the decade, but so maybe I'm kind of screwed up, but who cares? Good morning. Thank you for joining me. I'm Valerie Shepard, coming to you live from the Hartley Center for Mindfulness and Self-Mastery, where we help you master yourself in your life, in the life that you are unfolding at every second, so that you can exquisitely manage whatever that life brings your way. And boy, oh boy, did 2020 bring us some incredible experiences to navigate, incredible experiences to navigate, and and incredible experiences from which, through which, to grow, to add to our toolkits, to refine our abilities, to refine our sense of self, to like get into the juicy, delicious aspects of who we are that maybe when life is going one way, we don't get quite as much opportunity to live at the highest level, to actually go deep. So I'm always talking about going higher into my consciousness by going deeper into the truth of who I am. Go higher into my consciousness by going deeper into me. And what I mean by that is something that we're going to talk about a little bit today. You know, today's title of the Hump Day Happy Chat is Hit the Road, Jack. And some of you may be too young to know where this comes from. So I'm going to just play something now so that you can hear this. Uh, this song was from 1962 by the iconic Grammy superstar, mega star Ray Charles. Let's see. I hope you can hear this. I love the horns. Don't come back no more, no more, no more, no more. Hit the road, Jack. And don't you come back no more. What you say? Don't you come back no more, no more, no more, no more. Hit the road, Jack. And don't you come back no more. Don't come back no more, no more, no more, no more. Hit the road, Jack, and don't you come back no more. What you say? How about that? What you say? Not a Ray Charles here, but totally getting into it. What do you say? Don't you want to do that? Like walking down the street, you're in the grocery store, somebody says something and you do your Ray Charles. Oh, what do you say? I think that would be really cool. Maybe I'll try that. Well, not going out very much these days, but gives me an idea. I guess I need some really dark sunglasses. Anyway, so what is this all about? I love the song, and I love songs for their ability to kind of bring us into a space where we're on the same page. So the whole idea, if you don't know the lyrics, So it says, whoa, woman, oh, woman, don't treat me so mean. So we could substitute 2020 for woman. Oh, 2020, 2020, don't treat me so mean. You're the meanest old year that I ever seen. So I know that there's a whole bunch of, thank God that's in our rearview mirror. And that's really cool. We are in the first week of 2021. And so I know that a lot of people went through their rituals. Maybe it was just a toast to say bye bye, bye bye, bye bye to 2020. And that's great. Uh, I didn't toast this year. I was probably asleep by midnight. Um, there's not much partying for one in my living room, although I was excited about watching celebrations in other places, and I watched a good movie. So this idea of, okay, something's in my rearview mirror, hit the road, Jack, get rid of this stuff, hit the road, Jack, is really cool. So there's some empowerment in it. I love sort of the, you know, uh, I'm taking care of this, like that's gone and you gone, and like it's gone and that's out. I'm getting rid of it. I call this release. We talk about this a lot in the Living Happy to Be Me, step 2 of the 4-step Happy to Be Me process that's in my book is about release. It's all about um, taking conscious, concerted, committed, ongoing, continuous action to release that which no longer serves me. Good morning, Linda. Thank you very much for being here. Love seeing you. Um, Conscious, concerted action that says, I'm going to eradicate something from my life. And that's really powerful. So the shake up step is all about shake up and release what no longer serves you and what is not in alignment with you being a higher being, with you being an integrated spiritual human person, not just a human. You're not just a human. Okay. So like that's where like real bountiful happiness comes from just accepting that one truth and living it as you. But in this idea of release, full release, right, is more than just changing a date. It's more than singing a song, as much as I love that song. It's more than changing a date on your correspondence and remembering that it's 21 now instead of 20. It's more than putting up a new calendar wherever you hang calendars. I have one on my refrigerator. It's more than that toast at midnight that says bye 2020 and hello 2021. Deeper release is generally necessary, which is why it's step 2 of my 4-step process and why the book gives you some very specific information on what you're releasing, how to know that, and some tips and tools. And I'm going to do a couple of them today. And then if you want to download the book for free, you can do that at happytobeme.net. It's a PDF version. That's my gift to anyone who needs prefers the download. And if you buy the book at the website, it's at 25% off what it's available on Amazon or Barnes and Noble. Um, and the difference is when you buy the book, you get the hard copy, or you can get the Kindle version. On the website, you get the PDF. So this release is all about how are we getting out of us that which we think we've said goodbye to. And so um, I bet you are like me in that there are times when you said, I'm over it, I'm done, this is not happening anymore. And you thought you've left it behind only to have feelings of regret, replays of old scenarios, conversations where, like, when I was really good at this, I would not only replay the conversation, I would replay the conversation past where the conversation actually ended and look at what could have been my responses, like replaying a, something completely different in terms of, oh, I could have said this, I guess I should have said that. um, Really strange. It doesn't sort of make sense, right? This whole um, it's not it's not happening now, but nonetheless, I was in the space of, hmm, okay, I'm going to replay this and put in the things I could have said that would have made me feel better. Hi, Rachel. Happy New Year. Welcome. Would have made me feel better handling it if I should have said this. But I'm replaying it as though I did. It's not important how you replay it. The idea is, it, I've thought I've left that behind, and it's clearly in the past, right? It's not happening this moment. But the replay is keeping it alive. Do you realize that? The replays of past moments in our lives, in our minds, is keeping those moments awake and alive inside us. It's an indication when you hear yourself replaying things so that you can get the upper hand on it, or even so that you can retell it in your head with a better outcome, or you can get sanctimonious and say, well, they deserved what I said because like when we're doing that, what the situation is telling us, there's something buried really deep, and it's come back to haunt me. It's come back to haunt me. And I don't mean haunting in the sense of a spooky person or a demon or something like that. I mean haunting. So it's not a haunting to be feared. It's not a haunting to be lamented. What it should do, it's a signal. It's a call, a calling. It's from you, to you, for you, and by you. That your life is happening for you. And these pockets of pain that erupt at any given moment explode into the present moment, even though they're not at all happening right now. The eruption happens now, but the actual occurrence of the pivotal point that created the pain is not in the present moment. It's just being triggered in the present moment. You may mentally think you may mentally think something's happening in the here and now, but when you really dissect it, if you do that truthfully, when you do that truthfully, you will notice, oh, there's really no danger here. There's really no person being mean to me here. This is just a person triggering a memory, triggering something buried, triggering something that's still hanging around that right? This is where personal responsibility comes, that I am keeping alive inside me. And if it's inside me alive, that means it's alive in my life. It's alive in my life. And I'm keeping it alive. Have you ever been really angry at a friend, and then it, I might carry anger for a long time, a few weeks, maybe months. In a couple places, I've kept it for years. Anger, low burn anger. And it comes up when I think about them or when they call or when we're together. And then have you ever brought it up with them only to have them go, what are you talking about? Or only to have them go, I don't even remember that. I was not mad. I, I, I wish you had told me. I never would have wanted you to spend all this energy feeling upset or feeling bad. And I'm so sorry that you were hurt by something I said or did. Have you ever had that happen? Isn't that interesting? And don't you feel sort of like, well, what was I thinking? Why did it set such a major um, in me, and in them it was a whatever, nothing. Why? But that's an indication that what is alive in you is not necessarily serving you, and it's not necessarily the truth of the situation. It's just my interpretation, my experience. That's a whole nother conversation. We'll do that later this year. So in this thing about what's alive in me, why do I care about it? Some old remnant of pain that's alive in me. So I'll give you a minute to see if you can answer for yourself. That's the teacher in me, the professor. The reason you care is because what's alive in you is setting your vibration. It's creating your vibrational energy field. And that energy field is around you no matter what. And the universe is an energetic body. It is creating based on the energy of all of the beings within the universe. That's why you'll hear me say over and over, for peace to happen in the world, peace has to erupt in the beings of the world, because the world, through law of reflection, is showing us. So when we see turmoil, and there's a lot of turmoil unfolding, I'm in the US, and this is turmoil unfolding in the United States, has been for a long time. Some say hundreds of years. The current political turmoil has been unfolding for more than just an administration. So when there's turmoil, it's showing us. So it's very important, if you want your life individually, now we'll go back away from collective consciousness to individual consciousness. So in my life, I am the master and commander, mistress and commandress of my experience. And my experience is not dependent on you. It's not dependent on collective consciousness. It's not dependent on anything else. It's dependent on me. I have causal nature in my life. And that causal nature emanates from my vibration. And that vibration is created from my habitual pattern of feelings, thoughts, beliefs, behaviors. Habitual pattern of thoughts, feelings, beliefs, and behaviors. So this is why saying hit the road, Jack, needs to happen on the conscious level, bye-bye, and also on the subconscious and unconscious levels, like also deep in your psyche. There has to be a release of what's no longer serving you. So as we're entering into 2021, and there are aspects of 2020 that you are like, I am saying later for that. Get below the conscious thought level of, I just don't like not seeing friends. Okay, so that's one thing. I don't like the isolation. So that's a conscious thought. I'm saying bye-bye to isolation. Great. But what's really underneath that? What's bothering people is not the isolation. It's some kind of interpretation of what isolation means to them. It's what isolation means, being isolated. It's what not seeing friends represents. It's what being all alone. I had to do that all alone. That's the way I would say. I was all by myself. My inner child would get really, I'm all by myself, which to me, the deepest level of being all by myself is I'm unlovable. I'm by myself because no one loves me enough to be with me. I'm by myself. I had to plan my birthday all by myself. That was a story I love to tell about the trials and tribulations of Valerie Renee Shepherd, because I was not lovable. That was my own story, and I wasn't even conscious of it. Part of writing my book was coming into consciousness around my own interpretations of the things that happened in my life that created these pockets of pain that were buried, that I wanted to go on a treasure hunt to find and bless and heal and release. So as you're doing the hit the road, Jack, to the stuff that's not wanted from 2020, and you're creating your plans for going forward in 2021, please, and I encourage and invite you to do a deeper level of understanding of what you're saying bye-bye to, so that those pockets of pain don't just get buried deeper and then come up in the middle of 2021 and you're like, I thought I let go of that. which means for however long it takes for you to realize it's still there, you've been vibrating at that level, which means through law of reflection, law of attraction, law of cause and effect, that stuff is attracting its like. So whatever you're trying to create in this new year is going to be suboptimized because what you're creating with is suboptimal. You don't just create with a conscious thought, you create with your entire instrument. Okay? That's the important point. You are not a surface being. You can choose to live that way. I did. And when I lived on the surface, I was never ever understanding why what I wanted wasn't showing up and what I didn't want was. What I wanted wasn't visible, and what I didn't want was right in front of my face. What I wanted seemed like a bridge too far, and what I didn't want was right in front of me because the stuff that was really attracting and creating as me was much deeper than the surface level. So here are a couple techniques. Again, it's step 2 in my 4-step happy to be me process. Shake up and release whatever doesn't serve you. And so the shake up is about, where is that stuff that's not serving me? I see something out there. Where is it in me? Where did it come from? And then I give a couple of my favorite practices. So my number one favorite practice for me is forgiveness. And I don't believe forgiveness is a religious practice. It is taught in religion. But forgiveness to me, and I practice radical forgiveness, which is helping myself get to a place where there was never an offense. This is based on the work of Colin Tipping and his book, Radical Forgiveness. Um, and you can check that out. But so I practice how do I take full responsibility and allow myself to be the master and commander and not be at effect of somebody else. Well, they made me feel so bad. I don't want to do that anymore. It doesn't serve me because it gives my power away. It gives my power away. Somebody can make me whatever. I like being the superior being in my life. So my favorite forgiveness practice is Ho'oponopono, ancient Hawaiian uh, practice of forgiveness rooted in the basis of radical forgiveness, that there is no offense, that everything that outplays in the world is coming from the people in the world. And so we all have collective responsibility. And so you may have heard this prayer: I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. And I do a ritual with it. You can probably find it in the Hump Day Happy Chat. There are a couple prayers that I've done, sessions or with Ho'oponopono. I'll call up certain things and then I'll say the prayer a couple of times and allow that energy to quiet within me. And I may have to do it if it's something really deep. I may have to do it for a year. But that's my commitment to releasing what doesn't serve me from inside me. Just consistently bring up the feeling. I felt shamed. I felt guilty. I felt ugly. I felt alone. I felt unlovable. And I forgive myself for that. I forgive anything that could have created that, but I take responsibility for those interpretations creating those feelings. One of my other favorite things is a burning bowl ceremony. And a lot of people do burning bowl ceremonies at the beginning of the year anyway. So this is a perfect time to do it. You get a nice bowl that you can burn something in. So don't get a plastic one. I did that one time. Doesn't work so well. You need a bowl that can withstand fire. I use, and you can do it in a fire pit. So you can make a fire pit the bowl. It can be a symbolic bowl or it can be a bowl. If you look this up, you'll also see that it's sometimes called a phoenix ceremony because it's the phoenix rising from the ashes, right? So you take some contemplative time. So you reflect however long it takes you to reflect. For some people, a 15 or 20-minute meditation is enough. I have spent hours in a reflective meditation to allow what wants to be released to speak to me, not to just mentally write down, I want to stop eating fat. It's not that. It's going deeper. It's allowing what is inside you that is not serving you to speak to you in its own voice, on its own timing, not to be mandated by you, in our having everything done quickly, popping a pill or, do it quickly. This is really reflective, contemplative work. So you're contemplating, allowing the mental chatter to quiet. Doesn't need to get silent, but to quiet. So it's taking up less of your energy field, the chatter, and then letting the heart speak what wants to be released. And then you write those things down. You can write them on individual pieces of paper. I like that because I like lots of paper in my bowl. And then I kind of scrunch them up like, I don't want you anymore. And I put you in my bowl and I say a prayer over it, the release prayer. I joyfully give all of this unwanted energy away. I thank it for being a part of me and serving me for this long, because some of our fears and our angers and our anxieties, they do serve us in some ways. So I bless it and release it into the ethers of the universe. It gets recycled where it can do some good. And then I take a match. It's my favorite part. Taking a match, lighting it on fire safely, watching where the embers fly. Sometimes I put a screen over top of my bowl so the embers aren't flying where they could start a wildfire. Here in California, that is a concern. So a safe, contained, ritualistic fire that transmutes the energy carried by those pieces of paper into ashes. Now, here's the most important point. There must be a replacement. Whatever form of release you do, you're creating a vacuum. From quantum energy, the universe doesn't like vacuums. It's going to try to replace that vacuum and fill it with something. So here's where you get to decide what it gets filled with. What do you fill your vacuum with? So your ritual isn't complete until after you've done the burning of the old energy. You sit down and spend a little contemplative time on what it is that you're going to create and live and express in its place. And that's it. And the whole idea then is to continue forward, anchoring yourself in that new energy that you've just created and coming back to that space inside your heart, not just in your mental machinations in your mind, but in your heart, creating the space for going forward. And in a new year, just like with resolutions, you may have to like double down on them to keep yourself going, whatever they are. You're probably going to have to do this. The bigger the wound and the deeper it's buried, the more times you may want to invest in loving yourself enough to release yourself from the effect, being at effect of the wounds in your life, the things that aren't serving you anymore. How's that? Hit the road, Jack, and don't you come back no more, no more, more, no more. Hit the road, Jack, and don't you come back no more. What you say? Okay, so many blessings to you. Happy Hump Day. Um, I always close with the meta prayer, and I feel good about keeping that going in 2021. I love this prayer. It's the prayer of loving kindness from the Buddha, Karanaya Metta Sutra. May all beings be peaceful, inner peace, inner peace. The world needs more beings walking in inner peace. May all beings be safe. May all beings be happy. All beings includes you and me. May all beings awaken to the light of their true nature. That light is emanating from your powerful, magnificent essence that's right here in your heart, the seat of your soul. Awaken to the light of your true nature and may all beings be free. We're talking about emotional freedom, emotionally free. You do that by releasing yourself from the emotional junk in your trunk that you need to say, hit the road, Jack, and don't you come back no more, no more, no more, no more. What you say? I'm going to hit the road, Jack, now. Many blessings. Happy hump day. See you next week. And if you feel called to do so, share, because there are a lot of people who are trying to figure out how they're going to release themselves from what did not serve them in um, in 2020 and step into the new year. And you could be their gift. Thanks for joining. Many blessings. I'm ending the live video now. Bye bye.